Hello everybody, welcome back to the Fireside Bible Study. We are on the home stretch of Leviticus. We got nine chapters to go, and then we move on to Numbers. So far, it's been pretty enlightening for Leviticus. A lot of very specific instructions on these sacrifices and whether or not you have leprosy. These things, you can't really imagine them in this day and age, right? We don't have to do that stuff anymore. Thank Jesus for that. But anyway, looking forward to finishing this out, and then we can move on to Numbers. So I'll pray us in. We'll get started. Heavenly Father, we just come to you to study your word in the book of Leviticus. We just pray to retain the wisdom. We pray that we learn more as we go, and we become closer to you. That's all we want, my Lord. We just want to be closer to you, so we can walk with you, understand you, and just be better followers. And with that in mind, I pray, amen. Idolatry forbidden, chapter 19. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to all the congregation of the sons of Israel, and say to them, You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Every one shall revere his mother and father, and shall keep my Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God. Do not turn to idols, or make yourselves cast metal gods. I am the Lord your God. Now when you offer a sacrifice of peace offerings to the Lord, you shall offer it so that it may be accepted. It shall be eaten on the same day you offer it, and on the next day, what remains on the third day, it shall be burned with fire. So if it is eaten all on the third day, it is unclean, it will not be accepted. And everyone who eats it will bear the consequences for his guilt, because he has profaned the holy thing of the Lord. That person shall be cut off from his people." Various laws. Now when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall reap to the very edges of your field, nor shall you you shall not reap to the very edges of your field, nor shall you gather the gleanings of your harvest, and you shall not glean your vineyard, nor shall you gather fallen grapes of the vineyard. You shall leave them for the needy and for the stranger. I am the Lord your God. You shall not steal, nor deal falsely to one or lie to one another. You shall not swear falsely by my name, so as to profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not oppress your neighbor, nor rob him. The wages of a hired worker are not to remain with you all night until morning. You shall not curse a person who is deaf, or put a stumbling block before the person who is blind, but you shall revere your God. I am the Lord. You shall not do injustice in judgment. You shall not show partiality to the poor, nor give preference to the great. You are to judge your neighbor fairly. You shall not go about as a slanderer among your people. You are not to jeopardize the life of your neighbor. I am the Lord. You shall not hate your fellow countrymen in your heart. You may certainly rebuke your neighbor, but you are not to incur sin because of him. You shall not take vengeance, nor hold any grudge against the sons of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. 19. You are to keep my statutes. You are not to crossbreed two kinds of your cattle. You shall not sow your field with two kinds of seed, nor wear a garment of two kinds of material mixed together. Now if a man has sexual relations with a woman who is a slave acquired but for another man, who has in no way been redeemed nor given her freedom, there shall be punishment. They shall not, however, be put to death, because she was not free. He shall bring his guilt offering to the Lord in the doorway of the tent of meeting, a ram as a guilt offering. The priest shall also make atonement for him with the ram of the guilt offering before the Lord for his sin which he has committed, and the sin which he has committed will be forgiven. Now when you enter the land and plant all kinds of trees for food, and you shall count their fruit as forbidden, for 3 years it shall be forbidden to you, it shall not be eaten. And in the 4th year all its fruit shall be holy, an offering of praise to the Lord. But in the 5th year you shall eat its fruit, so that its yield may increase for you. I am the Lord your God. It's a lot of time before you can eat fruit. You shall not eat any meat with blood. You shall not practice divination nor soothsaying. You shall not round off the hairline of your heads, nor trim the edges of your beard. You shall not make any cuts in your body for the dead, nor make any tattoo marks on yourselves. I am the Lord. Do not profane your daughter by making her a prostitute, so that the land does not fall into prostitution, and the land does not become full of outrageous sin. You shall keep my Sabbaths and revere my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Do not turn to mediums or spiritualists. Do not seek them out to be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. You shall stand up in the presence of the gray-headed and honor elders, and you shall fear your God. I am the Lord. When a stranger resides with you in your land, you shall not do him wrong. The stranger who resides with you is to be as the native among you. You shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. You shall do no wrong in judgment in measurement of weight or volume. You shall have accurate balances, accurate weights, an accurate ephah, an accurate hin. I am the Lord your God who brought you from the land of Egypt. You are to keep my statutes, all my ordinances, and do them. I am the Lord. On human sacrifice and immortalities. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, You shall also say to the sons of Israel, Anyone from the sons of Israel or from the strangers residing in Israel who gives any of his children to Molech shall be certainly put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. I will also set my face against that man and cut him off from his people, because he has given some of his children to Molech, so as to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name. If the people of the land, however, should ever disregard that man when he gives any of his children to Molech, so as not to put him to death, then I myself will set my face against that man and against his family, and I will cut off from their people both him and those who play prostitute with him, by playing the prostitute with Molech. As for the person who turns to mediums and spiritists to play the prostitute with them, I will also set my face against that person and cut him off from his people. You shall consecrate yourselves therefore and be holy, for I am the Lord your God. You shall keep my statutes and practice them. I am the Lord who sanctifies you. If there is anyone who curses his father or his mother, he shall certainly be put to death. He has cursed his father or his mother and brought his own death upon himself. If there is a man who commits adultery with another man's wife, one who commits adultery with his friend's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress must be put to death. If there is a man who sleeps with his father's wife, he has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them will be put to death. They have brought their own deaths upon themselves. If there is a man who sleeps with his daughter-in-law, both of them must be put to death. They have committed incest and have brought their own deaths upon themselves. If there is a man who sleeps with a male, as those who sleep with a woman, both of them have committed a detestable act. They must be put to death. They have brought their own deaths upon themselves. If there is a man who marries a woman and her mother, it is an outrageous sin. Both he and they shall be burned with fire. There will be no such outrageous sin in your midst. If there is a man who has sexual intercourse with an animal, he must be put to death. You shall also kill the animal. If there is a woman who approaches any animal to mate with it, you shall kill the woman and the animal. They must be put to death. They have brought their own deaths upon themselves. If there is a man who takes his sister, his father's daughter or his mother's daughter, so that he sees her nakedness and she sees his nakedness, it is a disgrace. They shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He has uncovered his sister's nakedness, he bears his guilt. If there is a man who sleeps with a menstruous woman, uncovers her nakedness, he has exposed her flow, and she has uncovered the flow of her blood, so both of them will be cut off from their people. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your mother's sister or of your father's sister, for such a one has uncovered his blood relative, they will be their guilt. If there is a man who sleeps with his uncle's wife, he has uncovered his uncle's nakedness, they will bear their sin. They will die childless. If there is a man who takes his brother's wife, it is detestable. He has uncovered his brother's nakedness, they will be childless. You are therefore to keep my statutes and my ordinances and do them. For the land which I am bringing you to live will not vomit you out. Furthermore, you shall not follow the customs of the nation which I am going to drive out before you, because they did these things. Therefore I have felt disgust for them. So I have said to you, you are to take possession of their land, and I myself will give to you to possess, a land flowing with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, who has singled you out from the peoples. You are therefore to make a distinction between the clean animal and the unclean. And between the unclean bird and the clean, you shall not make yourselves detestable by animal or by bird. So anything that crawls on the ground which I have distinguished for you is unclean. So you are to be holy to me, for I the Lord am holy, and I have singled you out from the peoples to be mine. Now a man or a woman who is a medium or a spiritist must be put to death. They will be stoned with stones, they have brought their own deaths upon themselves. Brutal. Regulations concerning priests. Then the Lord said to Moses, Speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, No one shall defile himself for a dead person among his people, except for his relatives who are nearest to him, his mother, father, son, daughter, and brother. Also for his virgin sister who is near to him, because she has not had a husband. For her he may defile himself. He shall not defile himself as a relative by marriage among his people, so as to profane himself. They shall not shave any area in their heads bald, nor shave off the edges of their beards, nor make any cuts in their flesh. They shall be holy to their God and not profane the name of their God, because they present offerings by fire to the Lord, the food of their God, so they shall be holy. They shall not take a woman who is a prostitute and profane, for nor shall they take a woman divorced from her husband. It is for he is holy to his God. You shall consecrate him, therefore, because he offers the food of your God. He shall be holy to you, for I, the Lord who sanctifies you, am holy. Also the daughter of any priest, if she profanes herself by prostitution, she profanes her father, she shall be burned with fire. The priest who is the highest among his brothers, on whose head the anointing oil has been poured, who has been consecrated to wear the garments, shall not uncover his head or tear his clothes. Nor shall he approach any dead person, nor defile himself, even for his father or for his mother. Nor shall he leave the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his God. For the consecration of the anointing oil of his God is on him. I am the Lord. He shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow or a divorced woman, or one who is profane by prostitution. These he shall not take, but rather he is to marry a virgin of his own people, so that he will not profane his children among his people, for I am the Lord who sanctifies him. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron, saying, None of your descendants throughout their generations who has an impairment shall approach to offer the food of his God. For no one who has an impairment shall approach, a man who is blind, nor who limps, or one who has a slit nose, or anyone who has any conspicuous feature, or someone who has a broken foot or broken hand, contorted back, or one who is a dwarf, or who has a spot in his eye, a festering rash or scabs or crushed testicles. No man among the descendants of Aaron, the priest who has an impairment, is to come forward to the Lord's offerings by fire, since he has an impairment. He shall not come forward to offer the food of his God. He may eat the food of his God, both of those most holy and of the holy. Only he shall not come up to the veil or approach the altar, since he has an impairment, so that he does not profane my sanctuaries, for I am the Lord who sanctifies them. So Moses spoke to Aaron and to his sons and all the sons of Israel. Various rules for priests. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Tell Aaron and his sons to be careful with the holy gifts of the sons of Israel, which they dedicate to me, so as not to profane my holy name. I am the Lord. Say to them, Any man who among all your descendants throughout your generations who approaches the holy gifts with the sons of Israel consecrate to the Lord, while he has an uncleanness, that person shall be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord. No man of the descendants of Aaron who has leprosy or has a discharge may eat of the holy gifts until he is clean. And one who touches anything made by a corpse, or any man who has a seminal emission, or a man who touches any swarming things by which he is made unclean, or touches any person by which he is made unclean, or wherever is uncleanness, a person who touches anything shall be unclean until evening, and he shall not eat any of the holy gifts until he is bathed in the body of water. But when the sun sets, he will be clean, and afterward he may eat the holy gifts, for it is his food. He shall not eat an animal which dies or is torn by animals, becoming unclean by it. I am the Lord. They shall therefore perform their duty to me, so that they do not bear sin because of it and die by it, because they profane it. I am the Lord who sanctifies them. No layman, however, is to eat the holy gift. A foreign resident with a priest or a hired worker shall not eat the holy gift. But if a priest buys a slave as his property with his money, that person may eat of it, and those who are born in his house may eat of the food. If a priest's daughter is married to a layman, she shall not eat any of the offering of the holy gifts. But if a priest's daughter becomes a widow or divorced, and has no child or returns to her father's house in her youth, she may eat of her father's food, but no layman shall eat out of it. If, however, someone eats a holy food unintentionally, then he shall add to it a fifth of it, and shall give the holy food to the priest. And they shall not profane the holy gifts of the sons of Israel, which they offer to the Lord, and thereby bring upon them the punishment of guilt by eating their holy gifts. I am the Lord that sanctifies them. Flawless animals for sacrifice. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons, and to all the sons of Israel, and say to them, Any of the house of Israel, or of the strangers in Israel, presents this offering, whether it is any of their vows or of their voluntary offerings, which they present to the Lord as a burnt offering, for you to be accepted. It must be a male without defect from the cattle, the sheep, or the goats. Whatever has a defect you shall not offer, for it will not be accepted for you. When someone offers a sacrifice of peace offerings to the Lord to fulfill a special vow or voluntary offering of the herd or the flock, it must be without defect to be accepted. There will be no defect in it. Those that are blind, fractured, maimed, or have a wart, festering rash, scabs, you shall not offer to the Lord, or make them an offering by fire on the Lord by fire on the altar to the Lord. Now, as for an ox or a lamb which has an overgrown or stunted member, you may present it as a voluntary offering, but for a vow it will not be accepted. Also, anything with its testicles squashed, crushed, torn off, or cut off, you shall not offer to the Lord, or sacrifice in your land. Nor shall you offer any of these animals taken from the land of a foreigner as the food of your God, for their deformity is in them. They have an impairment; they will not be accepted. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, When an ox or a sheep or a goat is born, it shall remain 7 days with its mother, and from the 8th day it will be considered acceptable as a sacrifice of an offering by fire to the Lord. But whether it is an ox or a sheep, you shall not slaughter both in its young in 1 day. When you sacrifice a sacrifice of thanksgiving to the Lord, you shall sacrifice as it may be accepted. It shall be eaten on the same day. You shall leave none of it till morning. I am the Lord. So you shall keep my commandments and do them. I am the Lord. And you shall not profane my holy name, but I will be sanctified among the sons of Israel. I am the Lord who sanctifies you, who brought you out from the land of Egypt, to be your God. I am the Lord. Laws of Holy Days. Then the Lord spoke to Moses again, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, The Lord's appointed times which you shall proclaim as holy convocations. My appointed times are these. For 6 days work may be done, but on the 7th day there is a Sabbath of complete rest, a holy convocation. You shall not do any work. It is a Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the appointed times of the Lord, holy convocations, which you shall proclaim at the times appointed to them. In the 1st month, on the 14th day of the month, at twilight, it is the Lord's Passover. Then on the 15th day of the month there is a feast of unleavened bread to the Lord. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the 1st day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not do any laborious work. But for 7 days you shall present an offering by fire to the Lord. On the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall not do any laborious work. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, When you enter the land which I am going to give you, and gather its harvest, you shall bring in the sheaf of the first fruits you harvest to your priest. He shall weave the sheaf before the Lord, for you to be accepted. On the day of the Sabbath the priest shall wave it. Now, on the day which when you wave the sheaf, you shall offer a male lamb 1 year old without defect as a burnt offering to the Lord. Its grain offering shall be then 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, an offering by fire to the Lord for a soothing aroma, with its drink offering, a 1/4 of hin of wine. Until this very day, until you have brought in the offering of your God, you shall eat neither bread nor roasted grain nor new produce. It is to be a permanent statute throughout your generations in all your dwelling places. You shall count for yourselves from the day after the Sabbath, from the day which you brought in the sheaf of the wave offering, there shall be 7 complete Sabbaths. You shall count 50 days to the day after the 7th Sabbath. You shall present a new grain offering to the Lord. You shall bring in from your dwelling places 2 loaves of bread as a wave offering, made of 2/10 of an ephah. They will be of fine flour, baked with leaven as first fruits to the Lord. Along with the bread you shall present 7 one-year-old lambs without defect, and a bull of the herd, and 2 rams. They are burnt offerings to the Lord, with their grain offering and their drink offerings, offering by fire of a soothing aroma to the Lord. You shall also offer 1 male goat as a sin offering, and 2 male lambs 1 year old as a sacrifice to peace offerings. The priest shall then wave them with the bread of the first fruits as a wave offering, with the 2 lambs before the Lord. They are to be holy to the Lord for the priest. On this very day you shall make a proclamation as well. You are to have a holy convocation. You shall do no laborious work. It is to be a permanent statute with all your dwelling places throughout your generations. When you reap the harvest of your land, moreover you shall not reap to the very edges of your field, nor gather the gleaning of your harvest. You are to leave them for the needy and the stranger. I am the Lord your God. Again the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, you shall have a rest, a reminder of by blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall not do any laborious work, but you shall present an offering by fire to the Lord. The Day of Atonement. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, On exactly the 10th day of the 7th month of the day is the Day of Atonement. It shall be a holy convocation for you, and you shall humble yourselves and present an offering by fire to the Lord. You shall not do any work on this very day, for it is a day of atonement, to make atonement on your behalf before the Lord your God. If there is any person who does not humble himself on this very day, he shall be cut off from his people. As for any person who does any work on this very day, that person I will eliminate from his people. You shall not do any work. It is to be a permanent statute throughout your generations and all your dwelling places. It is to be a Sabbath of complete rest for you. And you shall humble yourselves. On the 9th of the month at evening, from evening until evening, you shall keep your Sabbath. Again the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, On the 15th of this 7th month is the Feast of Booths for the 7 days to the Lord. On the 1st day is a holy convocation. You shall not do any laborious work. For 7 days you shall present an offering by fire to the Lord. On the 8th day you shall have a holy convocation and present an offering by fire to the Lord. It is an assembly. You shall not do any laborious work. These are the appointed times of the Lord which you shall proclaim as holy convocations, to present offerings by fire to the Lord, burnt offerings and grain offerings, sacrifices and drink offerings, each day's matter on its own day, because those of the Sabbaths of the Lord, and besides your gifts and besides all your vowed and voluntary offerings, that which you give to the Lord. On exactly the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered the crops of the land, you shall celebrate the feast of the Lord for 7 days, with a rest on the 1st day and a rest of the 8th day. Now on the 1st day you shall take yourselves the foliage of beautiful trees, palm branches, and branches of trees with thick branches, and willows of the brook. You shall rejoice before the Lord your God for 7 days. You shall celebrate it as a feast of the Lord for 7 days in the year. It shall be a permanent statute throughout your generations. You shall celebrate it on the 7th month. You shall live in booths for 7 days. All the native born in Israel shall live in booths, so that your generations may know that I had the sons of Israel and live in booths when I brought them out from the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So Moses declared to the sons of Israel the appointed times of the Lord. That is very specific, and they have to remember all that. 24. The lamp and the bread of the sanctuary. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Command the sons of Israel so that they bring you clear oil from the beaten olives to the light, or for the light, to make a lamp burn continually. Outside the veil of the testimony in the tent of meeting, Aaron shall keep it in order from evening till morning before the Lord continually. It shall be a permanent statute throughout your generations. He shall keep the lamps in order on the pure gold lampstand before the Lord continually. Then you shall take fine flour and bake 12 cakes with it. 2/10 of an ephah shall be in each cake, and you shall set them in 2 rows, from 6 to a row to the pure gold table for the Lord. You shall put pure frankincense on each row, so that it may be a memorial portion for the bread, an offering by fire to the Lord. Every Sabbath day he shall set it in order for the Lord continually. It is an everlasting covenant for those sons of Israel, and it shall be for Aaron and his sons, that they shall eat it in a holy place, for it is most holy to him, for the Lord's offerings by fire is portion forever. Now the son of an Israelite woman, his father was an Egyptian, went out among the sons of Israel, and the Israelite's woman's son and an Israelite man had a fight within the camp, and the son of an Israelite woman blasphemed the name and cursed. So they brought him to Moses. Now his mother's name was Shelemith, the daughter of Dibri, the tribe of Dan. And they put him in custody, waiting for Moses to give them a clear decision in accordance with the command of the Lord. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Bring the one who was cursed outside the camp, and have all who heard him lay their hands on his head. Then have all the congregation stone him. You shall also speak to the sons of Israel, saying, If anyone curses his God, he will bear the responsibility for his sin. Moreover, the one who blames the name of the Lord must be put to death. All the congregations shall certainly stone him. The stranger as well as the native, when he blasphemes the name, shall be put to death. An eye for an eye. Now, if someone takes a human life, he must be put to death. But the one who takes life in an animal shall make restitution, life for life. If someone injures his neighbor, just as he has done, so shall it be done to him. Fracture for fracture, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, just as he has injured person, it shall be inflicted on him. So the one who kills an animal shall make restitution, but the one who kills a person shall be put to death. There shall be one standard for you. It shall be the stranger as well as the native. I am the Lord your God. Then Moses spoke to the sons of Israel, and they brought the one who had cursed outside the camp. They stoned him with stones. The sons of Israel did just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The sabbatical year and the year of the Jubilee. The Lord then spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, When you come into the land which I am going to give you, the land shall have a Sabbath to the Lord. For 6 years you shall grow your field, and for 6 years you shall prune your vineyard and gather in its produce. But during the 7th year the land shall have a Sabbath rest, a Sabbath to the Lord. You shall not sow your field, nor prune your vineyard. You shall not reap your harvest afterward. You shall not gather your grapes of untrimmed vines. The land shall have a sabbatical year. All of you shall have Sabbath produce as land, for yourself, your male and female slaves, for your hired worker, and your foreign resident, those who live as strangers among you. Even your cattle and the animals in your land shall have all its produce to eat. You are also to count off 7 Sabbaths of years for yourself, 7 times 7 years, so that you have the time of the 7 Sabbaths of years, that is, 49 years. You shall then sound a ram's horn abroad on the 10th day of the 7th month. On the Day of Atonement you shall sound a horn throughout your land. You shall consecrate the 50th year, and proclaim a release throughout the land of all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you. And each of you shall return to its own property, and each of you shall return to his family. You shall have the 15th year as a jubilee. You shall not sow, nor harvest its aftergrowth, nor gather grapes from its untrimmed vines. For it is a jubilee, it shall be holy to you. You shall eat its produce from the field. On this year of jubilee you shall return to his own property. Furthermore, if you make a sale to your friend or buy from your friend's hand, you shall not wrong one another. Corresponding to the number of years after the jubilee, you shall buy from your friend. He is to sell you according to the number of years of crops. In proportion, a greater number of years shall increase its price, and in proportion to fewer years shall decrease its price. But because it is the number of crops that he is selling to you, you shall not wrong one another, but you shall fear your God. I am the Lord your God. The law of redemption. The land, moreover, shall not be sold permanently, because the land is mine. You were only strangers in residence with me. For every piece of your property you have to provide for the redemption of the land. If a fellow countryman of yours becomes so poor that he sells part of his property, then his closest redeemer is to come and buy back what his relative has sold. Or, in case someone has no redeemer, but recovers to find sufficient means for his redemption, then he shall calculate the years since its sale and refund the balance to the man for whom he sold it. So return to his property. But if he has not found sufficient means to get it back for himself, then what he has sold shall remain in the hands of the purchaser until the year of Jubilee. But at the Jubilee, it shall revert, so that he may return to his property. Likewise, if a man sells his dwelling house in a walled city, then his redemption right becomes valid until a full year after its sale. His right of redemption lasts a full year. But if it has not brought back for him within the space of a full year, then the house that is in the walled city passes permanently to its purchaser throughout its generations. It does not revert in the Jubilee. The houses of the villages, however, which have no surrounding wall, shall be regarded as open fields. They have redemption rights and revert in the Jubilee. So, as for the cities of the Levites have a permanent right of redemption for the houses of the cities which are in their possession. What therefore belongs to the Levites may be redeemed, and a house sale in the city of his possession reverts in the Jubilee, because the houses of the cities of the Levites are their possession among the sons of Israel, but pasture fields of the city shall not be sold, for that is their permanent possession. Of poor countrymen. Now in case a countryman of yours becomes poor and his means among you falter, then you are to sustain him, like a stranger or resident, so he may live with you. Do not take any kind of interest from him, but fear your God, so that your countrymen may live with you. You shall not give him your silver at interest, nor your food for profit. I am the Lord your God, who brought you to the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. Now if a countryman of yours becomes poor with regard to you that he sells himself to you, you shall not subject him to a slave service. He shall be with you as a hired worker, and if he were a foreign resident, he shall serve with you up to the year of Jubilee. Then he shall leave you, and his sons with him, and shall go back to his family, so that he may return the property of his forefathers. For they are my servants who have brought them out of the land of Egypt, and are not to be sold in a slave sale. You shall not rule over him with severity, but to revere your God. As for your male and female slaves with whom you may have, you may acquire male and female slaves from the pagan nations that are around you. You may also acquire them from the sons of the foreign residents who reside among you, and from their families who are with you, whom they will produce in your land. They may also become your possession. You may also pass on them as an inheritance to your sons after you, to receive as a possession. You can use them as permanent slaves, but in respect to your countrymen, the sons of Israel, you shall not rule with severity over one another. Redeeming a person who is poor. Now if the means of a stranger of a foreign resident with you becomes sufficient, and a countryman of yours becomes poor in relation to him and sells himself to a stranger who is residing with you, or to the descendants of a stranger's family, then he shall have redemption right after he's been sold. One of his brothers may redeem him, or his uncle's son, so they may redeem him. Or one of his blood relatives from his family may redeem him. Or if he prospers, he may redeem himself. He then, with his purchaser, shall calculate from the year he sold himself to him up to the year of Jubilee, and his price of his sale shall correspond to the numbers of years calculated. It is like the days of a hired worker that he will be with him. If there are still many years remaining, he shall refund part of his purchase price in proportion to them for his own redemption. But if few years remain until the year of Jubilee, he shall so calculate with him. In proportion to his years, he is to refund the amount for his redemption. He shall be with him like a hired worker year by year. He shall not rule over him with severity in your sight. Even if he is not redeemed by these means, he shall still leave in the year of Jubilee, he and his sons with him. For the sons of Israel, my servants, and my servants whom I brought in the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God. Blessings of obedience. You shall not make yourselves idols, nor shall you set them up for yourselves a carved image over a memorial stone, nor shall you place a figured stone in your land to bow down to it, for I am the Lord your God. You shall keep my Sabbaths and revere my sanctuary, I am the Lord. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments so as to carry them out, then I shall give you rains in their season, so that the land will yield its produce, and the trees of the field will bear their fruit. Indeed, your threshing season will last for you until grape gathering, and grape gathering will last until sowing time. So you will eat your food to the full, and live securely in your land. I will also grant peace in the land, so you may lie down, with no one to make you afraid. I shall also eliminate harmful animals from the land, and no sword shall pass through your land. Instead you will chase your enemies, and they will fall before you by the sword. 5 of you will chase 100, and 100 of you will chase 10,000. Your enemies will fall before you by the sword. So I will turn toward you and make you fruitful and multiply you. I will confirm my covenant with you, and you will eat the old supply, and clear out the old because of the new. Moreover, I will make my dwelling among you. My soul will not reject you. I will also walk among you and be your God, so you shall be my people. I am the Lord your God, who brought you in the land of Egypt, so you will not be their slaves. I broke your yoke and made you walk erect. Penalties of disobedience. But if you do not obey me and do not carry out my commandments, instead you reject my statutes, and your soul loathes my ordinances so as not to carry out my commandments, but rather break my covenant, I in turn will do this to you. I will summon a sudden terror against you, consumption and fever that will make the eyes fail and the soul languish. So also you will sow your seed uselessly, for your enemies will eat it. And I will set my face against you, so that you will be defeated before your enemies. And those who hate you will rule over you, and you will flee when no one is pursuing you. If also after all these things you do not obey me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. I will also break down your pride of power and make your sky like iron and your earth like bronze. Your strength will be consumed uselessly, for your land will not yield its produce, and the trees of the land will not yield their fruit. Yet if you show hostility toward me and are unwilling to obey me, I will increase the plague on you 7 times according to your sins. I will also let loose among you the animals of the field, which will deprive you of your children and eliminate your cattle, and reduce your number so your roads become deserted. And if by these things you do not learn your lesson, but you show hostility toward me, then I will show hostility toward you, and even I will strike you 7 times for your sins. I will also bring upon you a sword which will execute vengeance on the covenant, and when you gather together in your cities, I will send a plague among you so that you will be handed over to the enemy. When I break your staff of bread, 10 women will bake your bread in one oven, and they will bring back your bread and ration amount, so you will eat and not be satisfied. Yet, if in spite of this you do not obey me, but act with hostility against me, then I will act with wrathful hostility against you, for I, my part, will punish you 7 times for your sins. Further, you will eat the flesh of your sons, and you will eat the flesh of your daughters, and I will destroy your high places and cut down your incense altars, and pile your remains on the remains of your idols, for my soul will loathe you. I will turn your cities into ruins as well, and make your sanctuaries desolate. I will not smell your soothing aromas. And I will make your land desolate, so that enemies who settle in will be appalled by it. You, however, I will scatter among the nations. I will draw a sword after you, as your land becomes desolate and your cities become ruins. Then the land will restore its Sabbaths, and the days after. Then the land will restore its Sabbaths and all the days of desolation, while you are in your enemy's land, and the land will rest and restore its Sabbaths. All the days of its desolation will have the rest which it did not have on your Sabbaths while you were living in it. As for those among who are left, I will also bring despair into the hearts of the hands of their enemies, and the sound of a scattered leaf will chase them. And even when no one is pursuing, they will flee as though from the sword, and they will fall. They will stumble over each other as if running from the sword. Although no one is pursuing, you will have no strength to stand before your enemies. Instead, you will perish among the nations, and your enemy's land will consume you. So those who may be left will rot away because of their wrongdoing in the lands of your enemies, and also because of the wrongdoing of their fathers, as they will rot away with them. But if they confess their wrongdoing and the wrongdoing of their forefathers, and their unfaithfulness which they've committed against me, and also in their acting with hostility against me, I was also acting with hostility against them, to bring them in the land of their enemies. Or, if their uncircumcised heart is humbling so they will make amends for their wrongdoing, then I will remember my covenant with Jacob, and I will also remember my covenant with Isaac, my covenant with Abraham as well, and I will remember the land. For the land will be abandoned by them, and will restore its Sabbaths, and it is made desolate without them. They, meanwhile, will be making amends with their wrongdoing, because they rejected my ordinances, and their souls loathe my statutes. Yet in spite of this, when they are in the land of their enemies, I will not reject them, nor will I loathe them as to destroy them, breaking my covenant with them, for I am the Lord their God. But I will remember for them the covenant with their ancestors, which I brought out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the nations, that I might be their God. I am the Lord. These are the statutes and ordinances and laws which the Lord established for himself and the sons of Israel through Moses on Mount Sinai. Rules concerning assessments. Again the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, When someone makes an explicit vow, he shall be valued according to the assessment of the persons belonging to the Lord. If your assessment is of a male from 20 years to even 60 years old, then your assessment shall be 50 shekels of silver by shekel of the sanctuary. Or, if the person is a female, then your assessment shall be 30 shekels. If the person is from 5 years to 20 years, then your assessment of male shall be 20 years, and for female, 10 shekels. But if a person is from a month even up to 5 years old, then your assessment shall be 5 shekels of silver for a male, and for a female your assessment shall be 3 shekels of silver. If the person is from 60 years old and upward, if a male, then your assessment shall be 15 shekels, and for a female, 10 shekels. But if he is poorer than the assessment, then he shall be presented before the priest, and the priest shall assess him. According to the means of the one who vowed, the priest shall assess him. Now, if an animal of the kind that one can present as offering to the Lord, such as any animal that gives to the Lord shall be holy. He shall not replace it or exchange it for a good or a bad for a good. Yet if he exchange the animal for animal, then both it and its substitute shall become holy. If, however, it is any unclean animal of the kind which one does not present as an offering to the Lord, then he shall place the animal before the priest. If the priest shall assess it, either good or bad, as you, the priest, shall assess it, so it shall be. But if he should ever want to redeem it, then he shall add 1/5 of it to your assessment. Now if someone consecrates his house as holy to the Lord, then the priest shall assess it as good or bad. As the priest assesses it, so it shall stand. Yet, if the one who consecrates it should want to redeem his house, then he shall add 1/5 of your assessment price to it, so that it may be his. Again, if someone consecrates to the Lord part of the field of his own property, then your assessment shall be proportionate to the seed needed for it, a homer of barley seed at 50 shekels of silver. If he consecrates his field in the year of Jubilee, according to your assessment, it shall stand. If he consecrates his field after the Jubilee, however, then the priest shall calculate the price for him proportionate to the years that are left until the year of Jubilee. It shall be deducted from your assessment. If the one who consecrates it should ever want to redeem the field, then he shall add 1/5 of your assessment price to it, so that it may be belonging to him. Yet if he does not redeem the field, and has sold the field to another person, it may no longer be redeemed. And when it reverts into the Jubilee, the field shall be holy to the Lord. Like a field banned from secular use, it shall be for the priest as his property. Or, if he consecrates to the Lord a field which he has bought, which is not a part of the field of his own property, then the priest shall calculate for him the amount of your assessment up to the year of Jubilee, and he shall on that day give your assessment as holy to the Lord. In the year of Jubilee, the field shall return to the one from whom he brought it, from the possession of the land belongs. Every assessment of yours, however, shall be made by the shekel of the sanctuary. The shekel shall be 20 gerahs. However, a firstborn among males, which as a firstborn belongs to the Lord, no one may consecrate. Whether ox or sheep, it is the Lord's. But if it is among the unclean animals, he shall redeem it according to your assessment at 1/5 of it. If it is not redeemed, it shall be sold according to your assessment. Nevertheless, anything which someone sets apart to the Lord for deduction out of all he has, man or an animal or a field of his own property, shall not be sold nor redeemed. Anything set apart from destruction is most holy to the Lord. No one may have been set apart from among mankind and shall be ransomed. He shall be put to death. Now all the tithe of the land, a seed of the land or fruit of the tree, is the Lord's. It is holy to the Lord. Therefore if therefore someone should ever want to redeem part of his tithe, he shall add a fifth of it. For every 10th part of herd or flock, whatever flashes under the rod, the 10th one shall be made holy to the Lord. It is not to be concerned whether it is good or bad, nor shall he exchange it. Yet if he does exchange it, both it and its substitute shall become holy. It shall not be redeemed. These are the commandments which the Lord commanded Moses for the sons of Israel on Mount Sinai. And now we're in Numbers. So, that was basically just one big rule book, essentially. The Lord had very, very specific requirements for all kinds of offerings, whether or not you were sick with leprosy, and then the holy appointed times with the Sabbaths, the year of Jubilee. The people back then had to abide by all of these very specific rules, and they had to remember them, because if they didn't, they were considered unclean, and they had to do other things to make sure they were clean. And then they had to make more sacrifices and a whole bunch of other stuff. So back then, there were a ton of rules that they had to abide by. But that's what the Lord wanted. But I think, as you may remember from chapter 9, in fact, I made a short little video about that I put on TikTok. This Leviticus is a very good testament to obedience. The Lord wanted his people to be obedient and to do exactly what he says, which they did for the most part. The book doesn't really tell of any specific instances of people who disobeyed, except for, when Aaron made the golden calf out of the ironwork or whatever it's called. I can't remember the name. But it didn't really describe of many instances of people breaking these rules or failing to abide by them. But I think we can assume that Moses and Aaron did a good job of keeping the people to those standards. But that's it for Leviticus, guys. So we are now in Numbers, so we will continue later on. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you are learning more and more as I am. This is very, very enlightening. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.